Hey folks, so let's go over Friday's answers. Again, what's wrong with a donut? Guess what? It's missing the inside. So that's why you have to take away the small circle. If I take it away now, look, I get a big donut with no hole. That would be the total area of the big one. But if I have a hole in it, then I'm going to have to take away the inside so that I just have this outer edge. I mean, this could be a white wall on a tire. You know, those old tires back in the 30s. So again, when I say a typical donut problem, I am saying that you have a big area and you're going to have to take out the inside. If you look at this, we have a big square and I have to take out the inside, and that would leave me the gray shaded area. So let's go over Friday's answers. I did this one with you. And when we look at this, what do we have? We have a big rectangle. And then we have to take away the circle as well as the square. Well, the rectangle is 40 by 120. Now notice, this whole, and I'll draw it for you, this whole side is 40. That's 40. This has to be 40. Therefore, the radius is 20. Pi r squared. That's a circle. So this is 40 on the triangle. There it is right there. And I'm calling that the height. This is going to be my base. Well, guess what? If this is 40, then this side is 40. And if you already got 120 of it, that would make this 80. So this is going to be my base of 80. And this is my height of 40 right here. And don't forget, triangle has a 1/2 in front of it. So this part gives me 4,800 minus 400 pi. And this here, half of 80 is 40. 40 times 40 is 1,600. Plug all this in the calculator, and you're going to get a 1943.36. Now remember, the code, the hint, was World War II, and that happened in the year 1943, 42, I think, even 45. I think it ended in 45. So there you go for that one, 1943.36, and the units are squared because we're talking area. Now this guy, look at the diameter of 16. And what we have to do is, this is a whole donut, but we got to take out the square. What's wrong with a donut? It's got a square empty spot in it. So if we take that away from the circle, we'll only be left with the 4 shaded pieces. Pi r squared, now notice the whole diameter is 16. That makes the radius 8. Okay. And because this is a square, we just went over squares. I think as school was ending, and this is a diagonal, and we know the diagonal cuts the 90 degrees into 45 and 45. That makes this a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle. Well, if the hypotenuse is 16, we have to divide by root 2 and rationalize it. So that means that this side, the square is 8 root 2. And the area of a square is 8 root 2 times 8 root 2. Side times side. So this is going to give me 8 squared is 64 times pi. 8 times 8 is 64. Root 2 times root 2 is just a 2. And therefore, the hint was tie a yellow ribbon around an oak tree, which was in 1973. So there's your song. And again, here's that 45, 45, 90 triangle. This is a square. The diagonal cuts the angle in half. So it's a 45, 45, 90. Make sure you take the hypotenuse, divide by root 2, and rationalize it. And the side will be 8 root 2. So each side is 8 root 2 times 8 root 2. You get 128. And again, the hint, tie a yellow ribbon around an oak tree. That was in 1973. Ask your parents if they ever heard that song. So, for today's work, and I'll put out a Google quiz for you, notice it says, and I'll highlight it for you, the circumference is 50 pi meters. Well, here's my circumference formula. They told us what C is. You now have to find R. And that'll be this side here. Just like the previous problem, once you get this piece, you can find this whole diagonal. And then it is basically a circle minus the square. And I'll go back to this problem. Let me bring this out again. If this whole side is 16, then this piece is 8 root 2. So make sure that when you do this problem, you take this whole piece and find this side. So it's a circle minus a square. I'll give you a Google quiz for problem 10. It'll be called slide number 4. We get down to here. We want the area of the shaded part. So it's a big circle minus a small circle. But wait, we only know that this is 5. And they say right here in the directions, I'll highlight it for you, the diameter of the outer circle is 65. This whole pink diagonal is 65. Don't forget, and I'll shade it for you. This piece is 5, and this piece is 5, just like this is. And now you would know this radius. So again, for number 11, you're going to be close to 1,000. Again, I'll put up a Google quiz and I'll call it slide 4. And we get down to here, and this is simply a square, 22 by 22, and take away half a circle. And that'll give you your shaded part. So answer those questions on the Google quiz. Have a great day, folks. 3 problems to do. Yes, they're pretty involved. I do not need, we know this is all area. Number 10 will be meters squared. 11 will be inches squared. And 12 will be inches squared. But again, you do not have to write the units. We know area is always squared. Just write down your numerical answer, and all 3 of these will be decimals. There you go, folks.